Hello and welcome to Exponentially You, Life Passionately on Purpose. My name is Allie Payne and I am your host for this morning. I hope you can join me. Please log into your Twitter account. I would love to see your questions, comments, anything that you have to share or your experience with our topic today, which is vision and goals. So just really briefly, I am a certified life coach. I am also a certified organization and relationship systems coach. So I work often with leaders as well as corporate teams and professional groups. And vision and goals are absolutely crucial. I've been doing this work formally as a coach for 12 years, and I've been a facilitator trainer at the front of the room doing workshops and retreats for over 20 years. Also for organizations and for user groups. So this is something that I believe I'm really grounded in. I would love to know what you think. Hi, Bonnie. I'm glad that you joined me. If you have any questions, please let me know. I'd love to hear your take on vision and goals. So let's just start in with this. A lot of people, in my experience, find that vision and goals are sort of interchangeable and maybe they mean the same thing, that really a vision is a goal. It's just further out down the road. And a lot of people think that goals, or they tend not to make goals as finite as they need to be. So what ends up happening is it's like a constantly moving target when these two concepts I find aren't really well understood. It's like a moving target, and as much as that might feel a little bit exciting in the beginning because I can let myself off the hook if I'm not actually accomplishing them, I think it also can lead to a decrease in confidence because I never actually get to that point where I say, oh, I did it. Yes, I'm celebrating and I absolutely accomplished that. Isn't that exciting? And that it's something that I would want to share with my world, share with my people, with my organization, that I accomplished something and really celebrate that for myself, that I did that. So that's, I think, something that actually we end up ripping ourselves off. And then we don't get that boost in confidence that happens when we achieve the goal. So we aren't necessarily buoyed or I'm going to say feeling more bolder, stronger to then go out and set the next goal. So there's some hazards around that. And I think a lot of people don't like setting goals in the most effective way that they are meant to be used because it can be scary. Let's face it. If I set a goal and what if I don't achieve it? I mean, really, what if I don't achieve it? What does that say about me? And what are people going to think? Or maybe I'll set a goal and I'm not telling anybody. I am not telling anybody, because the last thing I need is people telling me that, reinforcing messages I actually already have about how, you suck and you can't do this and you're never going to get there. Oh, you said that before, but you didn't do it. So goals have this whole kind of messy, risk-taking sense to them, as well as a fear of failure around them. And it's something that comes up really often. So it's totally normal. Don't worry. It's all good. I know. I do it myself too. I know when I have resistance to setting a goal, there's probably something really juicy in it for me. So probably something that I should be looking at. So for a vision statement, let's just start there, because vision is sort of up here. Vision would be something at, say, the 10,000 foot level, and the goal is down here at the ground level. It's very tactical, finite, and measurable. So why am I talking about them both in one phone call or one blab? Well, because if you're going to actually set a goal and you're going to put yourself out there and accomplish something, why not have it accomplish something toward something even greater, so that they align, that it's not just action for the sake of action. And that for all of those really action, like checklisty people who get so worked up and excited when they get to mark things off the checklist because that was a goal. That's great. That's really great. But why not leverage that moving towards something that's even greater in your life? Something that really, it's like the train on the train track. You know, each one of those railway ties could be seen as a goal, but the track is actually going somewhere. It's not just a random pile of railway ties. You know, half of them go to the left and half of them go to the right, and some of them are behind you and some are, you know, that's not how it works. So, it can work. I just don't think that it's an effective use of your time and your energy. And I think actually the greatest growth of any person in this lifetime is when we're setting goals that align with a vision, align with that greater game that we're here to play. Now, I did a blab previously on purpose and talking about life purpose, not a blab on purpose. I mean, I was speaking about life purpose. And I would say, you know, if we're going to line things up, so goals would be here, you know, and then vision is up here, and then purpose is up here. So really there's a way to actually connect a thread through all of them so that the level of meaning at an emotional, spiritual level, which actually proven is what drives us, becomes so rich and engaging that the goal setting part actually becomes easier, along with overcoming some of our own limiting beliefs or the negative self-talk that we have. Because when we're setting a goal, it's towards something really rich and meaningful. So I'm more likely to accomplish it. So that's why I'm talking about vision and goal in the same blab, and that we understand the difference and also the leverage and the power about using them together. It's absolutely crucial. So let's start with vision. When I'm working with clients to help them determine their vision, and there is lots of organizations, lots of enormously successful people in this world who actually have not clarified their vision. And what does that tell you? I mean, and they're amazingly successful and they haven't even done this work yet, like, wow, can you even imagine what's possible? It's pretty incredible. So this isn't, if you haven't done it, well, then, there's no judgment about that. I hold that it's enormously powerful when you're willing to do this work. Vision actually lives in that emotional dream part of our brains. So when I was talking on the blab about life purpose, purpose lives in that spiritual part of our brain below the level of language. Vision is slightly above that. So it's more in the feeling, dreaming, emotional state that we have, that our conscious minds are more aware of, not necessarily connected to, but more aware of. Now, when I say vision is emotional and sort of dreamy, I kind of mean like at the dream stage, when there's like flying purple cows. So I was saying when I was talking about life purpose, that purpose doesn't have any form. There is no form or structure to it because it's a spiritual essence statement. Vision does have some form. So vision is up here and it has some form. It states a few things, and these are crucial. What is the size of the game that you're playing? Like if you're here to create something and you're going to live your life on purpose, and then I also did a blab about values, and you're constructively living your values every day. If you're doing those things, how big is this game that you're here to play? So it's got to have the size of the game. And I'll talk a little bit more about that to clarify. Then it's also going to have what are you creating? So it's a little bit of the who are you becoming, the size of the game, the where you're going. This is still not a paragraph. for those of you who love a lot of words. No, just as I said in the purpose statement, vision, maybe 10 max. Some are about 12 to 15 words. The problem is the longer that the statement becomes, or the more words that we use, the more in our heads we get about it. And it lacks meaning. And I mean, how many organizations have you walked into? And I said this before in a previous blab, and I will use this example again, where behind the office administrator, behind her head on some big plaque on the wall is some, Martin Luther King style, verbiage speech that is supposed to be the vision of the company. And yet if I ask her or any other employee to repeat it, or even, a leader in their life to repeat it, they can't repeat it because it's so wordy. It's so maybe ethereal and detailed that it lacks the punch. It's got nothing. And if this doesn't have that super emotional punch to it, then there's very little sticking power. And if you can't say it off the top of your head like that, the chances of you actually wanting to set goals toward it or go after it every day are pretty small. So vision it's worded in the affirmative, just like all of the other things. Purpose, it's in the affirmative. It's not what you're trying to eradicate from the world, or it's not what you're trying to remove from the world. It's what do you actually want to create. It's the size of the game. Now, what I mean by that is some people would say I've worked with some realtors, lawyers, professionals individually. They might say they want to be top of mind. Well, top of mind is a size of a game. It doesn't really state whether that's, within your community or your city or country, national, whatever. But top of mind is a size of a game. It means that when people think of someone within that particular profession, or they have that particular pain point, their name's going to come up. That's what they mean by top of mind. And you have to do a ton of work to really be a top of mind professional. So that's kind of the size of the game. Other people might say world class. Some people might say renowned or sought after, or setting the new standard for game changing. A lot of and it's okay that these words are, cliches, if you will, or they're known phrases. That's fine. As long as it has that emotional connection to it, that's great. So that's the size of the game that I'm talking about. Now, then what are you going to create with this when you're living your purpose in its most constructive form, and you're living your values constructively every day? I always say, if you do those two things on steroids, on crazy steroids, and you had endless resources, time, money, and energy, what would you be going to do with your world, with your life? What would your life be about? You have to think of Gandhi, and Mother Teresa. They had big visions. Think of Martin Luther King. That he had a dream, and the dream was about equality and peace and equality for all. And here's the thing about the vision statement that catches a lot of people relative to goals, right? A vision statement is that place at your tombstone, if you will, that you're aiming for. It is that place out in the horizon that actually is never really intended to be true. Okay, now for those of you, I know I have clients who look at me, especially very analytical, linear personality styles, which I did a blab on that too. So if you're interested in it, I can send you that one. If that's your style, then a lot of those types of people would look at me and say, well, then Ellie, what's the point? I don't get it. That is completely a waste of my time and useless. If I'm going to do the work to come up with this statement, and yet it's never going to be accomplished, forget it. I'm out. That's stupid. I'm not part of it. Well, even you have an emotional part within your body and your brain. And so there is that connection to it. Vision is out on the horizon and it's never intended to be accomplished. If you already know how you're going to get there, and then number one, it's probably too finite. Okay, it needs to be a little more open-ended. And number three, you're not aiming big enough. Number two, number three, whatever I was talking about, you're not aiming big enough. And this happens a lot with people when they're coming up with a vision statement, because we come up against the, well, who am I to, who am I to go and say I would be a sought after leader or a world-renowned author or a thought leader in the world? Who am I to say? So we come up with a lot of our crap about who am I to be big? Who am I to be that well-known or successful? Well, I think that's why you're here, quite frankly. I think it is why you're here. I mean, if your entire vision in your life is to, I'm thinking of, Mother Teresa, to spread love in the world, or to, for her, perhaps maybe show God's love in the world, that every person in the world would know God's love. Let's just say that was Mother Teresa's vision, right? Well, that is pretty enormous that she would ever be able to contact or touch or impact every single person in the world. I mean, come on, that's mind-blowing. And then she's saying within the structure of what? That they would know God's love. Now, that's just an example for you. But that gives you a size of the game, right? So maybe you're doing something from a global stage, and this gets it pushes buttons. It really pushes buttons. My role as a coach and the facilitator is to really kind of help you unravel some of that junk you got going on that's saying, well, I can't be that big. I mean, who am I? And it's supposed to do that. It is supposed to freak the pants off you, okay? When you get to that vision statement that hits your heart because you desperately want it so badly, and at the same time you're like white knuckling the edge of the table going, I don't know how I'm gonna do that. That terrifies me. Great. You're on the money. You're on the mark. That's perfect. And that's the fun of this game about developing our vision statement, is it's actually already in us. This isn't about me determining how big you are going to be in this world, because I have news for you. You are already supposed to be way bigger, so much more than what you even imagine in this world. And I hold that. I firmly believe that. I fiercely believe that. And I won't let it go. And that dream of how big your life can be is actually already in you. I'm not putting it there. It is in your heart. It is that, that a wish is a dream the heart makes. Well, or a dream, that was backwards. A dream is a wish the heart makes. I actually think that's vision. Your vision is the dream in your heart. That thing that maybe when you were a little person, when you were a young child, that you really wanted to do, and thank goodness at some point in your life you might have thought was actually possible. That is probably something to do with your vision. Now, as we grow older and we are more and more aware of the messages that are constantly bombarding us, telling us that we have to play small, be safe, don't make other people uncomfortable, don't push buttons, for heaven's sakes, don't make a fool of yourself, don't be big, blah, 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 all the rest of that crap, then we sort of cover it up and it gets buried under a lot of other junk. So vision statement, really doing a vision statement can take some work, because we have to challenge ourselves about how big our lives can actually be. You will know you have come to the place of your vision when it hits there's an emotional part, because as I said, it hits a chord in you at an emotional level, because it's actually something you desperately want. You have no idea. You may not have any idea how to create it, and that's fine. not conditional to the vision statement. If you already know how to go get it, that's not a vision. That's the whole point, is that you would have a vision statement that is big enough, that has enough form around it. So being a sought after leader, enlightening, empowering, and engaging people from a global stage. That is my vision. That feels a little bit risky to put out there. It feels a little bit risky for me to say, knowing that some people are going to have something to say about that. And that's okay. Because all that matters is that that's what I have believed about me in my heart since I was 6 and 7 years old. I just know that. I may not be great about doing that every day. And that's okay, because I'm also imperfectly perfect. Thank you, Brene Brown. But the point is that I get up every day and I desperately want that. I truly want that, because my purpose, setting people free, I am here to be doing something to contribute to other people, and the size of my game is from a global stage. I don't know how yet, and that's okay. But every day, having that purpose that I connect to at an emotional level, I can get up and say, how am I going to make that true today? How am I going to take one step closer to that vision today? Knowing that of course, I want to make that true in my lifetime. I don't know how many millions of ways that might happen. But I'm going to get up every day and believe it's true, because I want it to be true, because I believe it's why I'm here, and I'm going to go after it. I'm going to chase it. Now, there's lots of different ways that I might need to invest my time and energy to make my vision statement true. So vision statements, again, it's the key part of the vision statement is, who are you becoming in the process? See, for me to be a sought after leader in enlightening, empowering, and engaging people, I'm going to have to do some work on myself. I'm going to probably have to do a lot of work on myself. I'm probably going to have to work on myself every single day and keep learning and unfolding my own junk and learning, having insights, and keep gaining knowledge and skill and expertise in how to apply that learning and help other people, so I can go and give that to other people. Wow. Well, I'm like, okay, so I guess I'm going to commit to that. I'm committing to that every day by having that as a vision statement. So when you have a vision statement, you've got to have a certain amount of structure that's open, and it's slightly open-ended. So it's got to have the size of the game. Who are you becoming? And this is really, really important. A lot of people that you hear speak on stage who have reached a particular level of success, but at tremendous cost to themselves, to their personal relationships, sometimes within their professional life as well, and have rebuilt their success very differently, or even slightly differently, with awareness of who they're being in the process. Those are people who had vision statements that was purely about accomplishing a particular or goals, that was a particular thing, but it was completely irrelevant to who they were being in the process. And that is not, well, it's a dangerous place to aim for, because we end up being, I think, recovering and nobody wants to be around that. And we leave a huge wake of people in our path. And I don't think that's what this world needs more of, for sure. So setting your vision statement is the size of the game. How big are you here to play? What's some basic definers that you're here, that while you're doing it, while you're getting to that size of the game, what are you doing? So is it, setting the bar for commercial real estate in Canada? Okay, that's a vision statement. Being top of mind, being the top of mind personal injury lawyers in Canada, or I'm in Canada, so I'm using that as an example, within nationally, you could say, or redefining some industry, or being a world leader of something. Okay, so you got to have the size of the game. You get what I'm saying. Then you have to have some definer of voice. So I said real estate, I said lawyer, I'm talking leadership, need to have some structure of like the what are you doing, and it needs to be very cognizant of the who are you becoming in the process. Because if that vision statement doesn't require you to grow and stretch and push your buttons and look under every single rock, even the ones that you thought they weren't even there, or maybe you looked before but you didn't want to see what you saw, then your vision statement it's not the right one for you. It is this rich game of playing, I'm going to aim there in my life because it is so meaningful. I don't even know what my life would be like if I didn't aim for that. It matters that much to me, and it's so exciting to pursue every single day. Knowing it's going to get me to grow, it's going to force me to grow and become the better person. And in some ways I say, well, isn't that what life is about? Isn't that what life is about? Is spending our days here, becoming the best person that you can be, the best people that we can be, creating the greatest positive impact. I think that's what life is about. So that's a worthy game for me to play. So you'll notice that nowhere in the vision statement is there a time frame. Is there finite numbers? Like, I'll reach $1 million in revenue, or I'll have, 5,000 people on my email list, or I'm going to have 3 houses in different countries all on the ocean. That's not a vision statement. That's what a lot of people think is a vision statement because they get caught up in the differentiation between goals. The vision statement is the up here. It occurs at an emotional level in the brain. There is some structure around it, but it is open-ended, and it is intended to be out there on the horizon that's meaningful enough you're going to get up every day and say, I'm playing that game today. What is the gap between where I am today and that vision statement? Okay, so what am I going to do today to make that come true? Now let's work down to the goal. A goal is highly tangible, measurable, finite point of success along the way. So if I'm using my railroad track, it's each one of those railway ties is a goal. It's finite, and it's showing my progress toward my vision. It is highly measurable. So the part of the risky part and why people don't like these is that there's a risk of failure. There is a risk of having to play a game of accountability at a level that I have not before. If you have any questions about this, by the way, please feel free to tweet them into me, send them to me. I'd love to hear from you. This is great if you want to come join me as well. So a goal, highly finite, measurable, tangible. A way to describe a goal would be, could I get a third party to come in and audit? Literally, it's binary. I either did it or I didn't. There is no sort of halfway. So when people set goals saying, I love New Year's resolutions that come along with goals, and they say, I'm going to be happier this year. Okay, well, I really want that for you. I sincerely want that for you. However, I have no idea how, as a goal, that's going to work, because there's nothing tangible or measurable in that. I understand it's an experience that you want more of. Awesome. But I don't understand how it is that you're going to do it. How do I celebrate with you? How do I ask you? Otherwise, I'm just going to sort of be asking you how that's going. And anything you tell me, I'm probably going to believe or just give you a good shrug because I don't understand it. See, when a goal, okay, so if you want to be happier, what kind of things have you experienced more happiness? So maybe you're going to have a goal around health. Maybe you're going to take your lunch to work 3 times a day and do the stairs instead of the elevator every day, at least once a day. Those are things that are tangible and measurable, because I could ask you, on Friday of every week, did you do the stairs every day, and have you brought your lunch 3 times a day? And it's either yes or no. Yes, no. I didn't mean to go halfway. There's no halfway. There's no gray area on goals. It's yes or no. And it's something that in perpetuity, when you do this over time, would likely increase your happiness if you say that health is a part of feeling happy. Maybe another part of you feeling happier is improving your relationships, or at least spending more time in them. So perhaps if you have a significant relationship in your life, or a common law, or you're married, you would say, I'm going to have a quality date night once every week. And the ground rules are that there's no television and no movies, because I really am wanting to connect. So we may do an activity, or we might just go for coffee. But it's about spending time in each other's presence and actually talking. And I have clients actually come up with just questions. They each have to come with 5 questions, because sometimes the reason they're not connecting is they've forgotten how to talk. They don't actually understand how to have conversations that aren't logistical, as in who's paying the bills, who's driving where, who, all of that. Blah, that's just logistics. It is the relationship, but it's not necessarily the depth and connection rich part of the relationship. So maybe in having these date nights once a week, that is going to increase your happiness. And again, I could say to you after the first, by the end of January, have you had your 4 date nights that you've committed to? And it's either a yes or a no. You did it or you didn't. That's a goal. It's that finite. So on your path of being happier, which I would also help you create something a little bit clearer around that, but that's fine for now. If you want to just be happier, I would ask you, what does being happy look like, so that we could set some finite goals around that. It seems really simple, I know, to set a finite, concrete goal. And yet you would be amazed how many people I get who love to just kind of wiggle out of this. They hate being pinned down. And this is from that personality style blab I did in the disc series. It's the eyes, or in the colors, it's the oranges, or, those who are quite extroverted don't love being pigeonholed into something really finite. Good. It's like trying to fit them inside one of their socks. It's just, it's rather amusing, and we love them through it. Whereas the people who are more linear thinkers really love goals, because they get it's very rat-a-tat-tat, kind of like that. So just be kind to yourself in this, and remember that your personality style and your value systems actually play into your understanding, or your willingness to do some of this with ease. Some personality styles get this a little more with ease, the less structured one. The structured personality styles get goals with ease, but not the unstructured. So that's okay. It is what it is. And as long as you get some help around it, everybody can still play this game. And it's really important that we do. Here's another thing about goals that I think is really important to understand is, yes, it does mean that you might be playing an accountability game. And there is very few things that is going to push your buttons and put your own stuff up in your face other than setting a goal. Because it means you're actually going to have to do something. It means you might actually need to do something that you're not doing, or not do something that you are doing, which is going to feel uncomfortable and, I don't want to do it. And then it might also, more importantly, because everything that goes on in our lives is all about the beliefs and the unconscious reel that is playing all of the time in our minds, that is going to become very apparent when we set really meaningful goals. So these are the goals that directly align with our vision and our life purpose. If you're just going to set a goal for the sake of setting a goal, that's fine. I mean, there's lots of stuff in our lives that need maybe you're having people over in a couple weeks and you want to set a goal of getting certain things finished. Great. That probably won't push your buttons that much. Maybe it will. I don't know. But that's another reason why I think goals are so important, that they align with your vision, because they're the ones that push our buttons. They're the ones that put us in situations where we really have to look at our poop and start becoming more of the person that we say we want to be in our vision. And that's really, I think, what makes this worthwhile. That's what life is about. Whether it's losing weight or stopping smoking or getting a promotion, or maybe you want to, lots of people, dealing with financial issues. Maybe you want to pay off some debt, pay off a certain percentage of the debt. Or maybe it's that by the end of this year, you're going to have a certain amount in savings. It's going to force you to behave in a different way and really challenge your thinking. That's what is so awesome about all of it. So there's goals just for this. There's goals that are, situational. Like I said, if you're having people over, or I love the one where women, seriously women, I'm calling you all out just right now as you hold up your little, your little itty bitty pink bikini, and your goal is, you're going on vacation and you need to lose that 20 pounds to go on vacation. Oh, for heaven's sakes. Why don't you just let yourself be happy right now? Just be happy. Just be happy and go and enjoy your vacation, instead of holding yourself hostage for every single day up until then. And then whether you did accomplish the goal and maybe you feel awesome and you went, yay, good for you. But unfortunately, for the majority of people who didn't actually accomplish it, or maybe those of you who starved yourself before that, which is not a whole lot of fun, and then you end up beating yourself up on your entire vacation. Oh, just stop it. Stop the madness. That's crazy talk. If you're going to go on vacation, enjoy yourself. My goodness. I'm not saying don't throw caution to the wind and be completely unhealthy. But those kinds of goals, those really situational, like I lose 20 pounds before I go on vacation, or, I have to lose 20 pounds to fit in my wedding dress, or, my cousin's getting married, I got to lose 20. Okay. Look, I'm all about health. Really, I am. I'm a health nut. Okay. I've recently taken on juicing, and I'm a bit of a freak about it. I'm a mad scientist in my kitchen. But the whole point is that kind of situational goal, they can serve you to get things moving, and you may or may not accomplish them. But if they don't at some level connect to the vision statement, the richer dream for your life that is so engaging, you can't help but get up every day and want to make it come true, your chances of being successful in actually accomplishing the goal are smaller. Because if you're just trying to lose 20 pounds to fit in that bikini, again, I'm good with health. I understand that. But there's too much about that is derogatory. There's too much about that has a really negative message that says, I'm too fat to go on vacation. Like, honestly, I'm not going to kid you. That's what I hear you saying. I'm too fat to go on vacation. Or I don't deserve to go on vacation or get married or look beautiful in my dress because I don't weigh the right number. I don't support those kinds of goals. I don't think they're healthy. I think they reinforce a lot of the really negative, crappy messages that are already out there everywhere in marketing and advertising anyway. Okay. And a lot of it, for men, a lot that is financial. I don't make enough money. I don't, it's about intelligence. I'm not smart enough. I'm not, oh gosh, you fill in the blank. Okay. It's endless. So if you got a goal, a temporary goal, doesn't seem to line up to the vision, like cleaning your house, or, you're going to clean your car this weekend, great, go for it. Fine. But be careful of those ones that end up kind of doing this to you, and they don't line up with your bigger vision anyway. They actually reinforce half of the negative messages, send your confidence dramatically lower, so your probability of accomplishing the meaningful goals goes down. And I just don't understand why you would do that. I don't get it. Having a vision for your life, what is it that you are, you're at its grandest form that you are here to create when you're living your life purpose constructively and your values consciously and constructively, when you're doing those two things on steroids, what is the greatest thing that you're here to create? We're more likely to set goals that have a lot greater meaning, that might feel crappy in the beginning. I get this, because they're pushing your buttons and on how you behave and how you think and bringing a lot of this to light. But ultimately, those kinds of goals that align with the vision are going to create even a greater impact. They're going to be far more meaningful in the learning and what you learn about yourself. And really, when you accomplish them, the celebration is going to be so much richer, because it's toward this greater thing. And you can start to see this happening, this vision statement starting to actually take form and feel it, and start to attract the things in your life that you need to actually have that come to fruition, because you're setting goals that are meaningful on the weight of it, instead of setting goals that advertising says you should have, you know, or your family thinks you should have, or somebody whispered in your ear when you were 7 and now you're still beating yourself up because you didn't do it. So you're setting goals that align with your vision, are richer, more meaningful. They're scarier. I get that. I understand that, but it's about baby steps. Okay. So you can have goals that, you know, I'm going to weigh this much by this date. Okay, that's fine. But then you have to, if that's part of your overall goal, that's fine. Okay, here's the thing about goals. Most people do not accomplish their goals because they don't understand how to set them. And they don't understand support either. So when you're doing a goal, when you're setting a goal, the goal is finite. So it has to be, I'm going to have this much in my savings account by this amount of, by this date, okay? It is a yes or no. It's totally binary, not I'm going to make more money, not I'm going to have financial freedom. Well, that might be the outcome of your goal, is you're experiencing more freedom in your finances, or you're healthier, you have this job promotion, greater confidence, great. The goal, though, has to be finite. Now, when you set the goal is, let's imagine for a minute, we're talking baby steps here, okay? Let's imagine we've got one railway tie, and we have a second railway tie. And the goal is to make it to the next railway tie, right? That's it. Because when we add those up over time, they don't need to be massive and grandiose. They can be little baby steps goals, but when you add them up over time, you will be absolutely amazed at your level of confidence, and you look back on how much you've accomplished because you set these goals that line up with your vision, so they're rich and they're meaningful. If I set a goal, and I actually already alluded to this in what I was talking about before, so I really want you to hear this. Most people set a goal for, and it's tangible and measurable, and I'm going to use weight again because it's one of the biggest ones that tends to hijack us and all our happiness with it. I'm going to lose 20 pounds. I'm going to weigh a certain number by a certain date. Okay, very finite, measurable, that's a goal. But here's the problem. They don't understand the strategy and set the steps in place to do the goal. So I set the goal. I go out and even tell my friends about the goal. Maybe I even tell my family about the goal. Like, I mean, this is pretty risky. I'm putting myself out there now. And I'm telling people, look, I'm going to go do this. But every day, I don't change my behavior to make that goal come true. So let's say I had set 6 months. So let's say it's New Year's resolutions. I'm going to pick on those two because, wow, those are not really helpful to us, particularly if we don't understand them and they just have us feel small and yucky about ourselves, which doesn't serve. So let's say by June, I was going to weigh a certain amount by June 30th. Okay. So by the end of January, I say to you, so how is that goal going? You go, oh yeah, it's good. Yeah, it's going good. And I said, well, what are you doing to get to that goal? Oh, well, I'm eating a little better and I'm going for some walks and okay. So at the end of February, I say to you, so how is that going? Oh yeah, well, like we had family in town and, it was Valentine's Day, so I had some chocolate and things, but I'm still walking and I'm still getting healthy. Okay. And I ask you by the end of March. And I keep getting sort of the same answer. And this is what happens a lot of times with goals. As I set the goal, I know what I want, and I get really great about setting the goal, but I have absolutely no idea how to execute the goal. What is the strategy that I am going to do? What is the accountable daily or weekly behavior? If you hear one thing out of this whole goal thing, please hear that. What is your accountable daily or weekly behavior that you are doing so that goal inevitably becomes true? Because, otherwise it's like time and effort, right? So we've got time on this axis and effort on this axis. I kind of did that wrong. Let's back up. Effort is on this axis, time is on this axis. So as I'm moving forward, nothing is really changing. Nothing's really changing. I'm saying it's changing, but here and there. And then I get closer to my goal and I end up having to take these drastic, unsustainable, unhealthy, really emotionally taxing steps to actually say I'm going to achieve it. And here's the kicker. Then when I don't actually achieve it, I've given myself an out. I have an out. Because, I tried and stuff came up. And then at the end, I really gave it my all. But I didn't quite get there. Yeah. How do you end up feeling when you set a goal and then you think you did stuff toward it, but then you didn't actually accomplish it? Feel like crap about yourself. And how likely are you to then go tell someone else about another goal that you set? Pretty unlikely, because you don't want to risk feeling foolish. You don't want to risk that failing again. It's terrible. It's absolutely awful. So if you understand this whole tangible, measurable goal thing, we're going from one railway tie just to the next railway tie, you better have a clear strategy that you're going to be accountable for. Daily or weekly behavior that you're going to be accounted for on that way. So I said this before, if it was about your weight, then you're going to, let's say, take your lunch 3 times a week to work. So you're not eating out, and you're going to take the stairs every single day, at least once a day. So when I say to you, so how's that weight loss going? And let's say we're in January and you're aiming for this for the end of June. Are you taking your lunches and are you taking the stairs? Yeah, I am. Yeah, Allie, I did. It was tough. It's weird. I keep going to push the elevator button and go, no, don't do that. And then I go around and take the stairs. And I noticed I didn't grocery shop right to, get my lunches made. So that's been a bit of a challenge. See, because it's requiring you to change your behavior, which comes from changing your thinking, change your thought pattern. Then I get to the end of January and I ask you, so how is that going? Well, it's actually going better. I'm learning that when I'm grocery shopping, I really have to think more about taking my lunches. And, it's easy to take lunch with a whole bunch of processed food, right? Or maybe I'm making more at dinner. So I'm buying different food, buy more of the same food so that I have more leftovers that I can take my lunch and it's already pre-made. And on that stair thing, I actually have some colleagues at work now who are joining me. And so a bunch of us meet in the lobby now and we all take the stairs, and it's actually, turning out to be pretty fun. So when I ask you, how's it going toward the goal? Now there's some learning that has happened. There's some changing of behavior that you are being accountable for. You've even managed to rally some support that looks like actually everyone's supporting each other on this stair thing. And I notice in your voice, it's lighter. It's gone from this feels uncomfortable and hard. And I never thought about that, which is normal, completely normal, into the phase of, it's coming along. And then, I say, let's say we're in March now, and I ask you, how's it going? You know what? I'm actually losing weight, and I don't really have to think about the lunches thing. In fact, I'm actually bringing my lunch more often now, because now at work, we're having potlucks. So we bring our own food instead of eating out, once a month, or I don't know, something like that. But it's become more, not just you, it's outside of you. It's far more natural and habitual for you to be doing these accountable daily, weekly behaviors. Now, when you're at that point, how likely is your goal? How likely are you to achieve your goal for the end of June? Well, probably 95% more likely than if you just set the goal and then you just keep thinking you're doing stuff toward the goal, but you really don't have a clue about execution because you don't have daily or weekly accountable behaviors to ensure that goal is going to come true. So, I use this a lot with income goals with folks who are in sales. Okay. Everybody's in sales, really. I don't care if you're a parent or if you're selling cars, you're in sales. But if you want to increase your, in working, particularly people in any industry starting out, whether you're in insurance or whether you are in law and you're newer in the beginning, you're building a book of business. What's the number one way to do that? You want to make more money. Well, how are you going to make more money? Make more phone calls. This isn't rocket science. And yet people say, okay, I'm going to build my book of business and I'm going to have an income goal that's going to be this percentage of increase after this many months. Okay. So same thing. I can ask you how that's going. And it's going better. And I'm talking to more people and but there's nothing in that is tangible and measurable that you're accountable for on a daily or weekly basis. So just get down to it already. Because when you start making those 5 extra calls that week or connecting with one new person a day, or I don't know how you're going to measure it, but for heaven's sakes, make it measurable so that you can be accountable for it. So when I ask you, how is it going toward that goal? You can say, you know what? Great. Every week I'm on, and I know some weeks when I'm going to be away, let's say I'm on vacation, I'm increasing the couple weeks before so that I continue to maintain my numbers. And you know what? My income is actually going up. I'm selling more and I'm getting out there. More people are using my name to refer me. Great. See, but if you just set the goal and it was tangible and measurable, it was for some period of time in the future, and then you just wishy-washy your way through there, you don't achieve the goal. You give yourself a complete out for why it didn't work out, your confidence goes down and you are way less likely to actually set another goal to improve yourself in the future. So there's a lot to understand about vision and goals, and it's not complicated. There's just a lot of nuances to them that make it really, really important to understand so that you can get out there and have a rich experience of life while you are being challenged in your behavior, in your thoughts, and have this experience of becoming this better person as you're achieving more and you get to celebrate success. Because what's the point of having a goal when you never get to celebrate that it's actually, that you achieved it? Throw a party, whatever you want to do. I actually have worked with organizations that have set weight loss goals in a business. I know, crazy, but phenomenal, amazing. That have set revenue increase goals, that, individuals who have savings goals. And when they reach that goal, they take a very small percentage of what they saved and they're going to treat themselves to a special dinner or something. See, when we don't use goals effectively, we actually rip ourselves off completely because we get the complete negative experience and we rarely get any of the positive experience. Vision. Let's not forget, your vision is intended to be an out on the horizon, unattainable, that you will actually never get there, but you are willing to spend the rest of your life aiming for it and running toward it because it is so rich. You can't imagine living your life not doing that. That you want to get up every day and say, I'm going there. What is the gap between where I am today and where I want to go? So that I'm going to set some goals, and I hope you set yearly goals. Maybe you've got monthly goals. Quarterly is often in business, set quarterly goals that gets you toward that vision. You might even have a big goal, like a really big goal that you, like, let's say buying your first home. Okay. So you're going to buy your first home and maybe it's a couple years in the future. So within that, you've broken it down into some smaller bite-sized goals. Great. Do that too. That's fine. I also used a word called strategy, and I'll do another blab on that and talking about strategy. The strategy is about the how. Okay, the vision is the where are you going? Where are you going? Like what and what are you creating? okay? Well, I guess you could say what. I know it gets a little bit tricky, but purpose is the who. Who are you? The vision is the where are you going, and the little bit of the who are you becoming in the process. The goal is what. Like, what are you actually doing by a certain time to make sure that you're going where you want to go? So the whole point is that you have them, you've done the work to have them aligned so you can connect the dots. Because that is the best experience, is when we're accomplishing goals that are reaching toward our vision, and we're being this person who lives consciously and constructively on purpose on the way. That is a passionate life. I really think that's a passionate life. No, every day does not come up roses. And the stuff you're going to uncover about your own beliefs and your thoughts might be, wow, just a whole pile of Pandora's box you did not want. But you know what? At least when you find it, you know that you're in a position you can do something about them, and they don't block you anymore. People who, often the most successful people in life, the most successful people in our world, have had audacious goals and, or audacious vision. Vision actually really does border your vision statement, that holy crap, and yet there's that part of your heart that says, yes, I want that. It is, the Jim Collins BHAG. I know he uses BHAG toward goals, but again, for people to play big enough to understand what their vision for their own life or what their business is, you really got to think audaciously. And who are you to be that big? Yeah, you know what? You're you. That's who. You're the you that you came here to be. Because that's your superpower, is being you. And there is only one you, so get on it. Be audacious when you think about your vision. Be big and grandiose you can possibly imagine, so that it scares the pants off you. Then you're probably close. And that your goals align with your vision, so that your sense of accomplishment and seeing movement towards something really meaningful just tends to flourish. And that in itself sets you up to set even bigger goals and take even bigger steps and be even more confident. And it also builds resilience for the times when we don't, because sometimes we don't achieve our goals. And it's not a point to beat ourselves up. The entire point is to say, okay, I didn't get there. Why? Maybe my strategy wasn't effective enough. Maybe my daily, weekly accountable behaviors wasn't good enough. Maybe there's a limiting belief. Maybe there's some thinking in the way. But if you don't accomplish a goal, please don't just say, well, that was that, or make up some story that all of a sudden you're not worth it. Spit that out. Not true. Get help. Enlist support. Maybe you needed greater support than what you thought to actually get that goal. It's why fitness and weight loss and this whole Fitbit and this whole online community stuff is really working for people, because peer support. Did you know that peer support is 9 times more likely to have you accomplish a goal? Yeah, that's why mastermind groups actually work. That's why they're amazing in all sorts, virtual, in-person, whatever. So if your goal didn't work, go back and be willing to unfold it a little bit. Was the goal maybe too grandiose? Maybe you didn't break it down into small enough bits. Maybe you didn't set up enough support so that, it was, because we want to stick to SMART goals, right? We've all talked about that. So specific, tangible, measurable, I talked about. M is for measurable. A is for accountable. You got to be accountable for that daily, weekly behavior. And T is the time part, R is, are they realistic? I actually don't like realistic. I think realistic is kind of boring. I aim more for resonant. If it resonates with me and I go, yeah, I want that, or that freaks me out, okay, that's probably great. Yes, realistic, but please not boring. Please, no boring. And T for, is it time date stamped? Okay, it's got to be really tangible. So we want to stick to that. We want to have our vision be something really rich. And when we connect the two, I think that is the zest of life. That is the richest experience of life that we're going to have, and all of the cool and freaky and amazing and mountaintops and valleys that come along the way. That's the whole point. If you want to play the Vision and Goals game, you can find me online at Twitter. I'm at Allie Payne, LinkedIn, Allie Payne. My YouTube channel is Allison Payne, ALYSONPAIN. I will be posting this recording. And my website is allypayne.com, ALYPAIN.com. Lots and lots of blogs and reference material for you there about this topic of vision and goals. If there's anything that I can help you find, please just let me know, message me, and I'll send you one that I think relates to your challenge or your question or something as best I can. I would love to have you join me. Come join me on my blogs. Let's have a discussion. Let me know how these work for you in your life, or maybe they haven't. Maybe I can be of support to you in that way. We will talk to you again on Exponentially You, Life Passionately on Purpose. I'm going to take a bit of a break over Easter here, and I will be back the first week in April. So check it out, and I will see you then, along with another rich and juicy topic for you. Have a great day, everybody. Happy Easter. Enjoy your weekend richly with family, relationships, personal, whatever that looks like for you. Be safe. Talk to you soon.